Welcome to UserAndI, the channel where I teach UI designers how to create user-friendly interfaces.
And today we're exploring carousels part 2. So in my previous video we explored what elements make a perfect carousel. We covered imagery, we covered navigation, and we also covered the visual cues that show our users how many slides we have in our carousel. This was a carousel we completed last week, and we're going to move on to creating our second one this week. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the same images as before, maybe a tiny bit of a similar style, but we're going to design it completely differently. So let's get started. As always, we all know that I love a rounded edge. So we're going to give this a bit of a border first. We're going to make that white. And then we're going to round these edges off here. Perfect. I'm going to copy this image at the top. I'm going to Command V that to paste. And I'm going to set that as a mask. And our borders seem to have disappeared, which is fine. We can just pop those back in. Awesome. Let's just position this so we've got a bit of a nice framing for this image as well, because imagery is very important as we covered in the last video. Perfect. Okay, so I think this time put that in a group for now. That's Command G to group. It's called carousel 2. Awesome. So what I want is a bit more of a clean feel for this one. I've literally just decided this. I'm probably going to unround the edges, but that's fine. We can do that in a little bit. I'm going to add a little rectangle here. I'm going to take off those borders. I'm going to make this white. I'm going to copy the text here, even though I'm going to change the style. I'm actually going to move these out of the mask. Oh, not the rectangle actually. And we'll move this down into our carousel. Change the style of this. I'm going to plot this in the middle of the rectangle immediately. I'm also going to change the line height on this, just because I want the text just a bit closer together. If you need me to make a video on line height, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to Command K to scale this up. You can also do this holding Shift, and it will bump it up by 10%, or bump it down by 10%. I'm going to go just the 1% at a time. Okay, I'm like that. I'm also going to add some subtext here as well, actually, which we missed off in the first one. I'm going to make this a bit more e-commerce as well. What would be a good holiday sentence? Let's go with destination from. And we're going to make that uppercase actually. We're going to take the font size down on that. And there's a little typo, of course. Destinations from. And then we're going to change the weight on that. What does that look like in semi-bold? And what does that look like in not capital? I'll leave that as capital, that's fine. Destinations from, I'm going to duplicate this text here, and I'm going to add some prices. That would be green. Destination from. also going to add some horizontal lines here. I'm going to leave the color the way it is, but I'm going to turn down the transparency. Just add a bit more elements. Just going to duplicate that. Bump that up as well. And then I'm going to group these. I'm not too sure about the alignment of this at the moment, but I'm going to leave that as is for now. Remember, design's an iterative process, so we're just going to put some things on the page and play with how it sits as we go along. And I'm going to scale this down just a little bit actually. I'm actually going to add a new color in here. I'm going to make this actually black. That seems quite harsh on that. I wonder if I can turn that down a bit. Let's leave it as blue for now, and we'll play with different types of blues, so shades. I can live with that for now. And what I'll do is group all of these. Text. Gonna ensure that rectangle is in the center. And then I'm going to make sure this is in the center of that rectangle. Okay. I'm happy with that. And then what I'll actually do is I'm going to take our slides, our visual cue, and I'll pop them down here. This is going to create a nice effect because what's going to happen is that only the image will slide and it will change here, which I like. I quite like that right now. I'm also going to change the color of my visual cues. Let's add a different color into the mix. Oh, I quite like that actually. It's nice. Let me know in the comments below what color you'd stop on. I'm going to go back so it kind of goes with the sand. Quite like that. Although it won't always be the sand, but we'll see how that looks in a different image anyway. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to change the alignment of that now that we've got our dots in. Okay, perfect. I quite like the looks of that. And for our arrows, one thing we actually forgot in our previous video was a call to action actually, because currently in this carousel it's more of an informational carousel. It doesn't tell the user what to do, it doesn't show the user what to do, it's literally just information, and this would actually be quite misleading because this carousel to a user doesn't look like it does anything. So we're going to change that for our other carousel in this week's video. We're going to double click on this shape, click on one of the corner edges, and we're going to delete that with backspace. We're going to hit escape to exit this edit mode, and then we're going to hit rotate on this. There you go. And we can also take off the border. We're going to make that white. and we are going to Command K, and we're going to scale that down. We're going to hold Shift, and we're going to tap the down arrow to bump down by 10% every time. Quite like the look of that. And we are also going to ensure this is in the middle. We're going to select our mask, select our shape, and then we're going to go to the alignment tool here, which will align it to the middle. If you hover over each of these buttons, it will give you a nice little description of what they do, which is perfect. That's fine, and I'm going to leave that there, but we're going to make that a little bit, I'm going to bunt, just leave the opacity down a bit on that. I'm going to scale that up a little bit more. And what we're going to do, we're going to call this our white panel, for lack of a better term. Now we're going to bump out. It seems that's not a white panel at all. What I'll do is I'll move that in there, and then I'll group this, and that is so that's our image, that's our actual panel. I'm going to call this carousel in, and we're going to call this white panel. So we'll move that across, and we'll duplicate that, pop that across. Now, one thing I'm going to do to ensure these are from the same distance from the edge is that I'm going to align that left, and then I'm going to bump it across using Shift and space, and the directional arrow twice. So I'm going to do that same here on the opposite side. I'm going to bump that across. So that's our carousel as it stands. There are a few things I'm not quite happy about. I'm not a big fan of the arrows, and I'm also not a big fan of these edges anymore. So depending on the look and feel you're going for, you probably wouldn't want round edges. I'm a big fan of round edges myself, just because it's the style I prefer. I actually quite like it about the borders as well, so we're going to turn that off. That's starting to look a lot cleaner. So for me, when I'm designing, I tend to add things to the page, and then at some point I will start to remove these elements and see what's necessary to direct the user or to communicate to the user exactly what we're looking for, which is what we're doing now. We've got all the elements in, we've got fantastic imagery, we've got the navigation arrows, we have our visual cues to tell the user how many slides there are, and now we're in the process of refining. What else can we change? These arrows I was talking about, let's move these together. I'm going to group those and call that arrows, and I'll move that into our design folder and also into carousel 2. I'm going to scale those down, holding Shift, and leave those at the bottom, just there. We'll leave that there for now, actually, and then we'll play around with the position of our white panel, just give a bit more room to breathe. What can we do with drop shadows? There we go. So I'll take that down a bit. Okay, I can live with that. It doesn't look clean though. Let's leave that off for a minute, and let's also change that color to the active color of our slide and see how we feel about that. And we'll actually change that color as well. Just experiment and see what stands out best here. Because ideally we want to highlight the most important areas. And I'll probably just change these back to that blue that we had. I'm going to sample the color from up here because they're the same. How do we feel about that? No, not a fan. We're going to change this back to the blue. And we're going to leave it like that. I'm going to play with the line height just a bit more. We're going to merge this up. If I get rid of this divider, okay, I'm starting to like where this is going. And let's actually play around with the typography of this area here. And we'll move that there, we'll play with the line height here. And to be honest, you can probably change the type here, just leave it as from. Move that up. We can move that down a bit here, actually. I feel like we do need another word back in there then. Maybe something not as long as destinations. Holidays, let's go with that. Holidays from, and we'll left align that as well. Just make sure this is in the middle. I'm going to group these now, and I want to make sure this is exactly in line with these. Perfect. And we're going to now change this color to this color right here. That's what we want. Okay, I'm starting to like this now. I'm starting to like this a lot better. Okay, I'm quite pleased with that actually. And we're going to center align that vertically. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below what you would change, what you would add. I'm quite a big fan of this currently. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. We're going to throw in another image and just to see how we feel about that. No, this works for me. We have fantastic imagery. We have our slides to show the user just how many there are, and we have our visual cues. As I said in the last video, there's one thing we missed, and that was a call to action. I'm going to put it in this panel because the user's eyes will be here. The only other thing is that they will have to go to the opposite side of the screen in order to change the slide. Right, let's have a little play around then. Let's rename some of these first of all. These are a mess. Slides. Change that to price. And that can come out of there. Price, where we visit. Let's move our slides out of price. Oh, we actually have a group for no reason. So what we're going to do, we're going to Command Shift and G to take those out of the group. And then we are going to group price and the text. Price and text. To be fair, we also don't need that group. We're going to move this up. question. So immediately, I kind of want to put it between the price and this dividing line here. I'll put it below. Take these slides, drop them down there. I'm going to group these because I want these together. Merge that up, and we'll put a call to action in here. And we're going to make this. I don't know if this colour is going to look nice in a huge area. Well, honestly, it's not offensive. We're going to go with shop now. We are going to change the colour to white. We're going to center align the text first, and then we're going to change that to bold. We are also going to bump that up. And we are also going to, what does this look like as a gradient? Let's have a look. Don't actually mind that. What do you guys think? It doesn't screen clean anymore. I think I will pump this up a little bit more. Just move that a little closer. See how your eyes immediately see the price and then direct to the call to action. That's why I made them the same color. But I'm not sure how I feel about this. It's the color that's throwing me off because it's not a fantastic color. I think for the next few videos, what we'll do is that we'll use the UserAndI brand, and we'll just use those colors throughout. If we gave that a white border and we increased the thickness, and if we added a drop shadow on that, and if we turn that down a bit, that lifts up the page a bit more. Okay, I do quite like that. And if we actually call to action, actually scale that down. I prefer that smaller. A bit more space. Just nudge that up a bit. And we'll follow suit with call to action. We can go with 7 between there and 7 between there. But I don't like that, I feel that's too close. So I'm going to go with 12 there. 12 there. And do the same for this one. Right, I know why that doesn't look like 12, because we have a border. So I'm going to give that, I'm going to play this by eye. 17. Okay. And if we made this semi-bold, what does that look like? Okay, I'll leave that as bold. That's fine. Right, what I'm going to do is draw a rectangle just there. And what I'm going to do now is, inside my white panel, I'm going to put all of this information, and then I'm gonna select that, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna vertically align that just to make sure it's between the top of the carousel and the top of the visual slides. That's what. And let's also talk about Instagram. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. I think that's it for this video. I wouldn't change anything else aside from the color palette, but we're not exactly here for that. We're here to make perfect carousels. And that's it for part 2 of designing perfect carousels. We made an upgrade from last video because we now have a call to action, so it's a lot less informational. And we've got no border as well, which adds to the cleanness of this. We've also got our visual cues in here as well to show the user how many slides there are, and we have our navigation arrows. Subscribe, like, and let me know what your thoughts are on part 2 of designing perfect carousels. Until next time.